All right. This is the 77th episode of the Runnin My Mouth podcast. I am your overworked host, Aaron, and allow me to run my mouth for a little bit. I'm not going to get too deep into it. Also, I can kind of see it in the viewfinder. If my mouth is red, I just had a cherry limeade in a glass soda, and that's why it got that good old red 40 and yellow 5. So yeah, that's why my mouth and or tongue is red right now. Anyways, like I said, I'm not going to get too deep into it, because if I do, then this episode will truly be 2.5 hours long. And I was looking, in like the past, 6 episodes have been over 2 hours long, which I don't think that's a bad thing, in my opinion. But not every episode needs to be 2 hours, 2.5 hours, which mean they haven't really been 2.5 hours. They've been just a little over 2 hours. But yeah, I have had a week of weeks. I can only describe it as just dog water. And it's kind of crazy because it's it's like, oh no, I have to do my job at my job. This is the worst ever. But also, it's not that, And again, I don't want to get too much into it, because I don't want to get too much into it. And also, like I said last episode, I have a therapist for these kinds of things. But I have just been feeling overworked to the point where, and I don't know if I've really experienced this before. I can't really think of a time where I have experienced this before, but once Friday came, I won't say I couldn't speak. I could speak, but I could not muster more than like a few words per sentence. Like, I don't know what was going on. Like, I was so spent. I told my mom, I'm spent like a bad check. Like, there was nothing left in the tank Friday morning, and I still had things to do. So it was genuinely difficult. And, it's been, well, actually, no, it only just started this past Friday. It's going to be, now I don't know if I'd consider this to be a heat wave or if this is just Mississippi in August, but a string of days of over 100 degrees, feels like temperatures way over 100 degrees, all right? I started Friday, I had an outdoor shoot Friday, and that just compounded everything. And again, I said I didn't want to talk too much about it, but I will say I drove home, I got in my car Friday afternoon, cranked it up, left my workplace, and I wasn't even all the way down the street before I started crying. So, that's where we're at. That is where we're at. Like I said, absolute dog water week. Feeling mildly overworked, but, these are things that will have to be addressed. Well, number one, at work, but also with the proper, in the proper channels. Not here. But aside from that, I do have a few things to talk about this week. I haven't gone to any shows, but that's okay, because I still have things to talk about, and there will be shows coming up that I will be going to that are going to be fun. They're going to be fun, and they're going to be great. So first of all, I guess I'll start. This is technically a non-music related topic, which I know I usually front load the show with music related topics, not really on purpose. It just kind of is how it ends up, but it is relevant. So I made, I talked about this on, I'm trying to find the name of that. Well, I know the name of the episode. I'm trying to find the number of the episode. Episode 51, Hitch My Wagon to a Dying Horse, where I talk about the platform for screenwriters called Coverfly. Now, there's a smudge right in the middle of my freaking vision. I don't know why I didn't catch this. I guess because, bright light. That's why I didn't catch it. But anyways, I shall continue talking as I attempt to clean my glasses. There was a platform for screenwriters called Coverfly, and the main purpose of the platform was to purchase coverage on scripts which is basically feedback that is purportedly from professional screenwriters and industry professionals and people of the like. And that would range anywhere from like 50 to like $250, which was crazy to me. And I still kind of see paid script coverage as kind of a racket. But also Coverfly functioned as sort of like what is it, Film Freeway? You could submit your screenplays to like contests and things like that. I don't necessarily think contests are a racket, but I do think paid coverage is kind of a racket. I'm not even gonna lie. I truly am not. But something that Coverfly had, which I thought was invaluable to screenwriters, especially ones who may not be in community with other screenwriters. That is so much better. Oh my gosh. Was they had a platform called Coverfly X. And basically what that was that you could upload your script and, anonymously, and you could get feedback from other writers. You didn't have to pay for it. The whole thing was based on a token system where you had to, review other people's writing in order to get tokens to, kind of pay in quotation marks for other writers to review your stuff. And it was all peer to peer. There was no money exchanged. And in that time, and this was kind of back in like 2021, and I remember this because I did a lot of this when I was at work, of course, at my last job, where it's so funny. I talk about being overworked, but, at my last job, I had long stretches of time, like weeks, consecutive weeks, where I would straight up have no work to do. So that was when I was working on my writing. That was when I was doing the most writing outside of school, was at that job. Anyway, I used Coverfly a lot then to read and give feedback on people's stuff, because that was something I found that I really enjoyed, because I had this internship, which I can't figure out if it was like a scam or something like that. Like I never really found out what the deal with that was. I haven't really looked into it recently, but basically there's this company, production company, and I do use that loosely because I went and looked on the, it's IMDb, and even at the time when I did the internship, which that was winter 2021, so it was like January or thereabouts. And at the time they didn't really have anything that they had recently produced, but either way, it was a script development internship. And basically what we were tasked with doing is we were assigned a script, and we were supposed to read and give coverage on them, which is something at the time I'd never done. I mean, it wasn't like a completely novel concept to me because, doing writing in college, and also, film in college, that was like a big part of what we did, especially with like our college week classes, is that we read people's stuff and we gave feedback. And that was like my favorite part of doing writing in college. So, I really enjoyed doing that, honestly. I mean, this was, of course, the before times, this is pre-AI, so it's like, at that point in time, if you did have a script that made it to a production company, it probably would have gone through, an intern who read it and gave notes on it and gave, not pass fail, but like a recommend, not recommend score to a producer. So, are things even still functioning that way? I don't know. But I found that I really enjoyed doing stuff like that. Not that I really felt I was, the arbiter of things, but, it was just something I really enjoyed for a time. I was like, ooh, maybe I could do this as a career these days. Again, I truly don't know if that career path even still exists, but it was something that I was interested in. It was just kind of unfortunate that this company that I did this, of course, unpaid internship with, I'm not entirely sure. It didn't go anywhere. Like at the end of it, we were supposed to pitch our scripts to the production company, I guess, to get them produced. I truly don't know. It's been a while since that happened, and I have forgotten a lot of those details, but I do remember checking in the group chat that I had with the other interns, and like none of them had heard back. So that was kind of crazy. I do want to look him up, though, the person who is over it. Or no, yes. I mean, yeah. Here's a LinkedIn. It says he's still going. So, I guess it's still a thing. Like, what is this? I found an Instagram, and it's active. It's got a story post here. That's a pin. Okay, I gotta mute this because I don't want this to play. Oh, this is from 2022. Well, that post is from 2022, and this is gonna... I truly don't care anymore. I mean, here's a... I'm just going through the stories. Like, okay, you know. Oh, we got some... Okay, this truly does not matter, but anyways, yeah, like, I truly don't know what the deal with that is. Anyways, to bring it back around, there was this platform, called Coverfly X, where you could give peer-to-peer notes, on your writing, and it felt a lot better than like the, other option to this, which would have been either paid coverage, which again I think is a racket. I truly don't think in order to get like notes on your writing that you should have to pay someone to do that, even if they are an industry person. I feel like even maybe not necessarily a layperson, because that's the thing with screenwriting, is that you can't just like say like, hey, can you read my script? A lot of people aren't really going to know the conventions of a screenplay. I don't know why I blanked on the word screenplay. Like, what works with the format, what doesn't work with the format, stuff like that. So like, versus a book manuscript, that's going to be a lot different. So, getting meaningful feedback on your writing is kind of hard if you don't know other screenwriters. And this r/screenwriting subreddit, it exists. Obviously, people swap scripts on there all the time, and there are like actual industry people on there, if their flares are to be believed, that is. Which, I mean, I don't doubt it that much. But I don't know, there's something, I think this is just Reddit. It's also Reddit and then film people, and then just combine those two things and times it by 10. And it ended up being, I don't know, the vibes in there are just like really jaded and just like a little bit bitter. And like, the vibes were off. The vibes are off in the r/screenwriting subreddit. Like, sometimes I'll go on there, but also I don't spend a significant amount of time on there. Let's just put it that way. But anyway, all that to say, Coverfly X shut down last year. When did this episode come out? That was July of last year, so like last summer. And so since then, it's been like, okay, there wasn't really anything like that existed. I mean, you had, like I said, the screenwriting subreddit, but there was like kind of not a code. I mean, yeah, kind of like a code that you were held to, to actually be, I guess, incentivized to give like actually good feedback. And I got a lot of good feedback on my scripts, and according to my reviewer score, which was pretty high, I want to say it was like 4.7, and I think it reviewed something like maybe 10 to 15 scripts. I can't remember, it's been a while. So I had a pretty decently high score, a high average. So it's like, yeah, this is something that I'm kind of good at. I love reading. I love reading screenplays, and I love giving feedback, and I like getting feedback. And so that's why it really worked out for me. And also, I was a really quick reader. Like, that was the note that I consistently got, was that I was really quick. But despite that, I still, not to gas myself up, but I guess that's what I'm doing. I was quick, but I still gave really decent feedback that people could use. And so, I don't know what I was doing to stumble upon this, but I ended up truly stumbling upon it. I was looking, I think I searched it like every so often, but I was looking like, okay, it's been a year. It's been over a year at this point since Coverfly shut down. Like, is there any alternative? And I saw all the alternatives for like the paid coverage and like the contest, which that's not what I was using it for. I do not want to pay for coverage, and I'm not super. I mean, I did the whole contest thing for a while. I mean, I made a video on my main channel about the blunders that I underwent doing the whole contest thing, which I feel that was totally on me because I had submitted like a first draft to like a bunch of contests, and that was like not the tea. And not only that, but I submitted to one like in its like final deadline, and it was the Nickel Fellowship, which was the most expensive one that I had submitted to at the time. And I think I ended up spending something like $300, over $300 submitting contests. Didn't get placed or selected for anything. But again, learning experience. Hey, maybe don't submit a first draft to a contest that you're paying for. Hey, maybe don't do that, actually. Which again, I don't think contests necessarily are a racket. Some of them can be, but I think the ones that are within already established, like, the Nickel Fellowship, or, ones that are in established film festivals, I don't really think those are like rackets. But I do know that there are some vanity competitions out there that will place just about anything. That's how you see sometimes at these smaller festivals, they get these, films that have all these laurels, and it's like, okay, where did some of these come from? Yeah, anywho, I was looking for, to see if anyone had finally made, the spiritual successor to Coverfly X, and I think I did find it. Well, I didn't think. I did find it. It's called Storypeer, and it is made by pretty much one guy, this guy named Gabe. He's the one who made the site, and looking at it at the back end, I mean, it's pretty much exactly like Coverfly, like to a T. The site itself is pretty simple. You get a certain amount of tokens. I think it's 7 that you start out with to submit a script. But first, before you can submit a script, which I don't know if this is like this on Coverfly, but before you can submit a script, you have to give feedback first, which I would imagine starting out, which this has been around to my knowledge for at least since I want to say December. So it's kind of crazy that I didn't end up finding it until now, but either way, this has been around for a while, so I'd imagine in those first few weeks, they probably didn't have that rule, but if you join now, you have to give feedback before you can get feedback, which I think is a good system. But it functions pretty much entirely the same way. You submit your script, you give a synopsis, or log line, and you say what exactly it is that you're looking for. This one is different in that it has like content warning section, and then you can claim a script you're given. I forget how long it is. I think it's like 4 days, 4 or 5 days or something like that, to read a script. And also, which I can't remember if this was a function on Coverfly, but you're able to, after a certain point, you're able to, I call it rate limiting. That's not what it is. For whatever reason, in my mind, it's rate limiting. That's not what it is. Reputation match. So basically, because right now, I have a 5-star reputation on Storypeer. But anyways, if you only want feedback from, high quality people, you can do that. And in order to get an average, you have to review 3 scripts. And so far, I've been using this for maybe like a couple of weeks. I got notes on a script that I uploaded because I saw this, and it like reinvigorated something in me. Like, I haven't really been writing, aside from, what I do on Jackson Underground, which is a wee bit different than screenwriting, especially fiction screenwriting. I haven't really been screenwriting in like a while. Like, it's been a while since I opened up Fade In, It's been some time, but I had the script that I had been working on for forever, truly forever. And I remember I had some notes in my notes app on my phone, and I went back and looked, and those notes were from 2024. And I hadn't gone in and actually made the revisions that I had wanted to. Took me 2 years to do that. It was crazy. It only needed a couple of, 2 it was only a couple of things that I had to change or that I wanted to change. So I made those changes and I uploaded it. Well, I had to, read a script before I could do that, and give feedback, and uploaded that to the site. And honestly, yeah, kind of what I found with Coverfly is that there is like so much good material out there. I've only read 3 scripts, and the 3 that I've read, 2 have been features, 1 have been a short. With this, it is a little bit different, because I remember on Coverfly you were able to submit treatments. In this, it's only finished work, so like a completed TV pilot, a feature film, and a short film. Those are the 3 that you can submit. And on Coverfly you could do like book manuscripts and treatments and like a couple different other things. I think stage plays as well. I think this is all screen stuff. So short film, feature film, TV episode. That's pretty much what you're limited to. Which I think, it works that way. And you are limited to, again, they have to be finished. They could be rough drafts, first drafts, but it has to be a completed story, which is crazy because I'm on here and I see one that is 2 pages. I think that must be a typo. Because what do you mean it's 2 pages? I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, I'm looking at the site right now. Right now there are 20 scripts available, which is a lot. So there's a lot of people using this site. Because 20 scripts available, 59 active readers, 116 reviews this week, 1,970 tokens exchanged within the last 30 days, which that would be, you can submit, or you can give anywhere from 1 to, I don't know what the maximum is, but I've seen up to 4. Oh, I see one here for 5 as well. So I would say 1 to 5 tokens, which you can pay someone, which again, paid in big quotation marks, someone to read your script. So that's how many were exchanged in the last 30 days. And there were 729 scripts added in the last 30 days, which I mean, I don't know if that is total number of like unique scripts or what, because I know you can upload a script and then a person can claim it. And I think you're able to upload that same script so a different person can claim it. So you can get, different feedback for it. But yeah, there are 20 scripts. Let me refresh. It's probably still going to be that same 20. I will say when I did upload my script, it did take maybe like a day and a half for it to get claimed. So maybe we have more writers than we do readers, which I don't know. I feel like reading to me is like the draw. But yeah, it's something that exists. And like I said, it kind of reinvigorated something in me. And I was like, yeah, I hadn't opened up Fade in like genuinely a really long time. So it's like, yeah, this this got me to write again, low key. Like, I don't know. I was so excited about it all, So yeah, this is something that exists. And in doing that, I was thinking like, man, because I've been kind of exploring like, what are my next steps going to be? What's next for me? Because I've been living here in Jackson 5 years. It's been a good 5. Well, one of those years was not super great, but it's been a good 4. If 4 of those years were pretty great. 3.5 of the years were great. Either way, it's been 5 years that I've been living here, and it's like, okay, like, what's next? Not saying that I'm like moving away anytime soon or anything like that, but I feel like I just got to do something big, which I feel like I have been doing big things, which it's crazy that I'm even saying that, because now that I say that, like, yeah, I have been doing big things, like, I mean, none of them have really been film related, which is like kind of the thing that I've been trying to do. I feel like I've been having a lot of really fun side quests, but my main quest has not yet been started. What? Has not yet started. What? Has not yet been started? No, has not yet started. Okay. It's after 8 o'clock. All right. And I've already established that I'm tired. So, ooh, I just peeked the mic real bad. Why does the input sound so loud? It's not. It truly isn't. So I don't even know. Anyways, what was I saying? That's crazy. I just distracted myself. Oh wow, I truly just lost it. What the heck? Oh, okay. So I've been trying to figure out what my next steps are going to be. And I'd already known about this because, my good Judy Lucy had been talking about getting a grant from, and I don't want to say this wrong, Mississippi Arts Commission. I keep wanting to call it the Mississippi Arts Council. It is not the council. It is the commission, the Mississippi Arts Commission. Getting a grant from them to do stuff with the Landmass Library. And I can't remember whether or not she did that or not. But that's something, that's available. Now, I will say the grants, they aren't perhaps as much as you could get in states that, maybe want to invest in the arts more than they currently do. However, it's not nothing. They have a few different grants. And I was looking at grants because I was thinking like, okay, I've had this short film that's just been hanging out for I don't know how long. And I did sort of kind of maybe attempt to make it last year, but I just got kind of busy at the end of the year and it just didn't end up happening. So it's like, I think I need to, I don't know, try a little harder, I guess, to make it happen, because I perhaps didn't at the time. So I was thinking like, okay, now that I have sort of, made a documentary, with my Burning Windsor video, I have some, I guess, I don't know, knowledge of maybe what it would take to, which I mean, I already knew what it was going to take to make a film. Like, I went through all of this in school, but like the dollars and cents of it all, it didn't really cost that much to rent a camera, because we ended up renting one camera and a lens. And I think that was it, like lights and stuff. My videographer, James, already had. So I didn't really have to rent that much stuff. But if I did need to like, maybe want to rent a nicer camera, because on the one hand, I could use my camera, but like, I've used some nice cameras, all right, and I know what it feels like to use a nice camera, what the footage looks like, just so delicious. We use Sony FX3s. Hold on, Sony FX3. Yes. We use voice cracked. We use those at my workplace, and let me tell you, the footages are great. The footages are phenomenal. So I think if I were to ever make a film, on my own, I would probably use that camera. Like, I would truly want to use that camera. Like, it is a really nice camera. But, of course, I wouldn't be able to buy one because first of all, why does Macy's have this? Why is this on Macy's.com? Yeah, it's a $4,300 camera. It's an expensive camera. Now, would I love to have one of these in my possession? Not this specific one, because this one is specifically meant for video and not pictures. If I were to buy another camera, I would make it more still focused, because I mean, truly, that is what I use my camera for the most. Like, obviously, I record the podcast on it, but I'm taking it to shows more times than I'm not. Or what? I'm taking it to shows to do stuff with it more than I'm doing video with it. So I'd want something, that would be good for stills. And I mean, technically, this camera can do stills, but also there's no viewfinder. Or is there? Am I tweaking? No, there's not. Of course I'm not. I've been using them every day this past week, so I feel like I should know that. No, there's no viewfinder on this camera. I want a camera with a viewfinder on it. There might be a version of it that does have one, but this one does not. It just has the screen. And believe it or not, I do like looking through the viewfinder. I can't really do it at shows because, like, it's really hard, especially when I'm at like a hardcore show or something. Like, I can't just have the viewfinder be my only reference. Like, I'm gonna get a foot to the head if I have one eye closed at a show that I'm trying to photograph. That's not happening. All right. Still, I like a viewfinder. Anyways, I was looking at that. Obviously, I don't want to buy a camera. I mean, I do want to buy a camera. I couldn't use a Mississippi Arts Commission grant to do that anyways, because they do have some mini grants for individuals where they give up to $500 for whatever purpose, but it has to be for expendable material. So like you can't use it to buy a new camera, but if you did have a film camera, I would assume you could use it to buy film. They have a list of grantees on the website, so people who have been given the grants for this financial year, and I didn't really see anyone using it to buy, a film for a film camera. I did see a lot of people using it to buy pottery, specifically pottery supplies. So, if you're getting, painting supplies, canvases, things like that, if you wanted to, you could get a grant from the state of Mississippi to buy art supplies. That is a thing that is available to you. You can also use a grant from the state of Mississippi to record an album, which I don't think a lot of people knew about. And I posted that on my stories because, like, hey, I know there's a lot of people who, a lot of bands, rather, who might want to record an album but don't necessarily have the money for it. And it's like, hey, Mississippi Arts Commission is just giving away money. It's just giving away money. So apply for it. Truly apply for it. If you don't know how to write a grant, which I don't know how to write a grant because I've never written a grant before, I would say look it up. Totally unhelpful, but I mean, I don't know what else to tell you other than, hey, maybe try looking it up. Try google.com. Perhaps even DuckDuckGo, if that's what you're into. But, you could get money to pay for recording sessions, which I think is really great. I'm trying to think. I mean, I could just go through it because I'm on the website right now. Grantee Spotlight. They also have grants for fellowships, and I really wanted to know what that meant, because, like, does that mean they have the fellowship, like they're running the fellowship? Because for financial year 2028, they have the categories changed for the different years, but financial year 2028, they have one for screenwriting, and I'm like, oh, this is me. But I went and looked through it. I don't think I meet the requirements because I looked at it, and for the fellowship, you have to be making a certain amount of your income from your art. And I am not. Which I suppose it could be argued that what I do at work is my art, which I think it is. But I don't know if that would meet the requirements of this. Because, I mean, I earn all of my income from my job, which is, I consider to be my art. So I don't know. I don't know if I would qualify for it, though. So I'm not going to try to apply for it. Let me see. Grants overview. I'm trying to freaking see. They have a list. Public art, grants for individuals, managing grant recipients. Okay, here we go. So yeah, FY27 individual mini grant. I'll just read like the first 5. $500 awarded to support participation in the Black Atlanta Comic Expo. If you want to table, or I guess this only really applies if you've already been accepted at that convention, or applied for and been accepted at that convention. But if you want to like table at a con, they will give you money for that. Support participation in the Black Atlanta Comic Expo, $500. $500 to support fees for the National Folk Festival Marketplace. Again, tabling, well, that's not really a convention, but, tabling, selling your wares. $500 to purchase ceramic supplies. $500 to purchase promotional materials. $500 to support travel expenses for a performance at Slavic Experience Festival. $500 to hire a person to create a book cover. $500 to purchase quilting supplies. $500 to attend Quilt Festival Houston. $210 to participate in an online writing workshop. So you can use it to pay for workshops and stuff too, like professional development type stuff. $500 to attend the Broadleaf Writers Conference. Attend conferences, attend conventions, get supplies. There's money for that. Really specific amount, 278 purchase quilting supplies. $476 to purchase yarn and natural pigment dye. Are you in the fiber crafts world? Because a lot of this is like fiber arts. Yeah, you can purchase stuff like that. Now, I don't think you'd be able to purchase like needles and like, I don't know what the machine is called that'll take the thing and turn it into a ball of yarn. Like, again, this is like expendable stuff. So, like yarn and dye, you know, or consumable, expendable, consumable, whatever. $250 to support web design. I know I said I was going to say only the top 5, but there's a lot of different stuff here. $500 to attend the Poets for Science conference. And another $500 to purchase ceramic supplies. I don't know how much porcelain that'll pay for, but something. $190 to purchase printing supplies. So what? Printing supplies. Printing supplies. Here we go. $500 to cover travel costs for recording a new album. Okay. Are we getting that? Here we go. $500 to fund a studio recording. Boom. $500 to fund website development. Boom. $500 to purchase CDs. Now, I'm not entirely sure what that entails. But it's on here twice. 2 different people got $500 to purchase CDs. $492 to purchase painting supplies. I'm so serious. If you are an artist and you need money for your projects, go to the Mississippi Arts Commission, not council. I keep wanting to call them the council. It's the commission. Go to the Mississippi Arts Commission, write you a little grant for like $500, buy some paints, buy some canvases, some real nice quality canvases, you know, $500 to buy frames and drawing supplies, printmaking supplies, painting supplies, stained glass supplies, mixed media, painting, web page design, attend an online artist education program, collage supplies, painting supplies. Like, it keeps going. There are a lot of grantees, by the way. Pottery glaze supplies, painting supplies, furnace construction supplies, pastel supplies, silversmithing, painting, pastel, promotional stickers, photo printing and framing. Oh, photo printing and framing. Well, okay, anyways. Built art installation walls. To build art installation walls. Print and illustrated book. Ink drawing. Mixed media. Evolon? Paper and primer. $500 for that. Attending a figure and painting and portrait painting workshop. Buy painting supplies. Buy mixed media art supplies. Frames for paintings. Painting supplies. Attend a bookmaking workshop. Screen printing supplies. Mixed media art supplies. Promotional hats. Buy promotional hats. $500 for that. Sculpture supplies. Mural painting. I could go on and on. There is a lot of money, okay, because this is a really long list. Just for this, well, I guess... What financial year is it? I don't know. This is FY27. It's not 2027, but I know financial years or fiscal years. I don't know why I keep calling them financial years. Fiscal years work a little bit different. So there is money out there, okay? Write you a little grant. Ask for help too, because I would assume something like this, you know, like I said, they're just giving it away. And I'm not saying they're just giving it away because they're just giving it away to anyone. I'm saying they're just giving it away because there's so many people who have been granted like $500, which is the max for the mini grant. Of course they have organizational stuff, but you know, I'm speaking as a potential individual. They have a few different grants, like the Individual Artist Fellowship. My former writing professor, Randy Smith, from Belhaven University, was awarded a literary artist fellowship. That's $5,000. To do what with, I'm not really sure. I probably should have read the article because it was sent out. You know, I get the alumni newsletter from Belhaven to my email, and sometimes I'll look at it, but I hardly ever read the actual articles. I should probably do that. I could probably get some insight onto what this money is actually used for. But yeah, there's actually quite a few grantees for the fellowship. There's actually kind of a lot of them. That's a long list. Oh, fiscal year 2027, which runs from July 1st to June 30th. It's explained right at the top. I just don't read, you know? And then individual project grants. Catherine Simone Gray, whose book Proud Flesh I have read and talked about here on the pod, was awarded $2,000 to produce a free writing workshop for mothers with parallel creative childcare provided, which is like, I guess, her thing. Let me see. There's one to produce live from the press room, which I feel like I've seen something about that, but also I kind of don't know what it is. What is live from the press room? Okay, this isn't going to tell me from Google. I feel like I've heard of it before. $2,000 to produce a one-day open-air Delta open studio for the public. John Rash of the Southern Punk Archive got $2,000 to produce the Punk Flea Market. Let me see. What else is in here? $2,000 to produce an ensemble music performance and post-performance Q&A. Like, there's money in here. Now, okay, so here's one to produce a documentary short film about North Mississippi award-worthy pizza. That's film. Like, I could use this money to make a film, you know? I would have to crunch the numbers first, you know? I'm pretty sure that's kind of obvious. You have to lay out exactly how you would use the money. So I'd have to, you know, build a budget for the film. So I can actually tell the people, like, hey, this is how I'm going to use the money. May I have some, please? Also something interesting, which I don't know. This just isn't stuff that I do, so I wouldn't know. But apparently this grant money is like treated as income. So you gotta like report it on your taxes. So Uncle Sam's gotta have some of my art money, I guess. As if they don't have enough of it, but whatever. But yeah, all that to say is that all this happening really got... Gee, I've been speaking for almost 45 freaking minutes. What the heck, man? I got other stuff to talk about. Well, okay, not that much other stuff, if I'm being honest. All that to say is that all of that got the gears turning, and I hope I can find it in me, if I'm not too freaking overworked, to, you know, maybe get a little grant money and, make this film, finally, you know? It's truly all I've wanted to do. So, you know, mark that off. Okay, now we can get into the music, the reason that a lot of you are here. Not the primary reason, but the reason. I'm gonna check. Let me see. Because I don't know if it was just for a year. Oh, I still have something in my cart. Hold on. Well, this is how we can test it. Let me try it out. Okay, it does still work. It wasn't just for a year. My discount code still works, but I mean, at this point in time, listen, it's been a year and nobody's used it. So I'm not going to be advertising it anymore. And I don't have anything to advertise. So no more ad reads for now. I will, however, go into, since I didn't go to any shows, we'll talk about the upcoming shows, because we have quite a few up and coming. I haven't really made an effort to do this, but, you know, I read off the shows that are coming up, and it's coming from a calendar. It's coming from a Google Calendar that I have lovingly handcrafted. That is available on my website, jacksonunderground.com/calendar. You can see the same calendar that I'm looking at right now, except when you're looking at, there's probably going to be a couple more shows added to it. Perhaps. Because right now it's Sunday. And when you're watching this, it'll be Wednesday. How about that? So yeah. Let me see. Okay, upcoming. So tomorrow, as this is coming out, if you're watching this on Wednesday, if you're watching this on Thursday, then it's tonight. If you're watching this on Friday, you're too late, all right? We have a band from Italy, called Gravery. coming. Teen Unitarian, oh, God, this always trips me up. The Unitarian Universalist Church, along with Thelora, Skinny Brag, and Mostly Satire. That's this Thursday. That's at 6. We do get international bands sometimes. I feel like I've seen a few. But, if you want to brave the heat, because this is going to be right at the tail end of our little heat wave here, if you want to brave the heat and go into that concrete box to see Gravery, Fleora. I feel like I said this differently when I said it the first time. Fleora? Skinny Brag and Mostly Satire. Then do so. Because it isn't often that we get international bands coming here. Like, I feel like they're from Italy. That's cool. Just that fact alone. On the 21st, we have Abel, Foster Falls, and Sad Bath at Urban Foxes. That's at 7. On the 22nd, we have 3 shows, actually. One of these I don't have a time for. But given that it's at Urban Foxes, it's probably going to be at 6 or 7. Either one. We got Hotel Burgundy, Too Darn Loud, and Victory Dog. That's on the 22nd. And then we have No Cure, Bayway, Face Off, Aureus, and Hush Puppy. That's going to be at Howlin' Mouse. And then this one, which has been sold out for quite some time, we have Color Revolt and Smokies at Dueling Hall. Now, I have thought about doing something. Okay, I'm like so far from the mic. Give me a second. Hold on. I'm grabbing a stack of things. I've thought about doing something like this for quite some time. It's just that when the time has come for me to do the thing, I just didn't think about it. So chances are, if you're going to be at the No Cure show at Howlin' Mouse, No Cure / Bayway, or the Color Revolt show at Dueling Hall, you will probably, which I mean, if you're watching this, then you don't need one of these. This is for the people who don't know. I made these little flyers. Okay, I printed them at my local Office Depot, Office Max. All right, for not that much money, by the way. And this is a big stack. This is regular copy paper, mind you. This is one, right? This is a regular sheet of paper. I have a lot. You could probably get one of these. It says, oh, okay, hold on. It's going to be a little bright. Hold on. I need to, face it around so that I can actually read it. I mean, I know what they say, but I need to be reminded. All right. Come on, focus. Focus. Focus, please. You were focusing before. You were doing so good. Oh, my God. Anyways, I found a website where you can make, old school word art. There you go. Oh, my God, you almost had it. Come on. Come on. Come on. I need to cover my face a little bit more. All right, we're not doing good here. You're just not going to be able to see it. All right, man, hold on. I don't have to hold the whole stack up. Here's one. There we go. It says, hold on, I need to be able to read it. Do you like live music? Do you wish you could see it every weekend for less than $30? No shade, because, listen, these will be dispersed at Dueling Hall and Howlin' Mouse. Sometimes they do have shows that are more than $30. And it truly is no shade. I mean it. You can. JacksonUnderground.com/calendar. Because, this is particularly timely because I have seen that the account has been revitalized, which, I mean, that's not a surprise to me. I knew it was going to happen because, again, people have been asking me for some reason. I mean, not for some reasons, because I was on the account for, a hot minute. But, ever since the end of Good Gigs, people have been something that I kind of knew it on some level, but people really did use the Good Gigs account to stay abreast of the shows that were happening, and while I was halfway in charge of it, I did try to, try my best to keep people abreast of things, and I like to think I did that a little bit, and, doing that is kind of, it's not the reason that I started the calendar, but it did help, having to post shows every week, actually having them on a calendar that I can look at made it easier. And after Good Gigs ended, I had been considering adding the calendar to my website for like a while. Then I heard from a lot of people that, not a lot, like a couple, truly a couple of people, but like, oh, they were gonna do it. And, I kind of waited on them to do it, and then they didn't do it. And I was like, well, okay. I mean, truly, what is the harm in me doing in me putting it up on my website? And so I put it up, and then the other calendar ends up coming out, and it's like, okay. I mean, the other calendar, it is fine. It has, some gaps in that it's not every, which I mean, my calendar isn't every show in Jackson, to be completely clear. My calendar is not every show. It is mostly stuff that falls under, the metal, hardcore, punk umbrella, occasionally going out into more alternative stuff, but and also sometimes outside of Jackson, because there have been times where I put Vicksburg shows on here. But what was I saying? I don't even know. I think, it's going to be hard to have a centralized place where every show in Jackson lives. Like, that's just not possible. But for the things that I talk about and the shows that I go to, I have a calendar where you can find all of that kind of stuff. It's on my website, and the people who don't know will find out, because, this happened when I went to the Throne show. I saw a lot of people who I never seen at shows before. You had the usual crew of people that were there, like I saw them, but I saw a whole lot of new faces. Maybe some people who had traveled from out of town to come to a show, who had never been there before. And I don't think I am the scene evangelist or anything like that, but I do talk up local shows. I mean, I made I made a post this morning because I saw this reel of this lady talking about, like, oh, no matter what happens, no matter what I'm going through, I'm going to be at the concert. And she was so real for that. She was so very real for that. Because honestly, no matter what happens, I'm going to be at the show. Well, okay, that's not necessarily true for myself. That is not necessarily true for myself, but the sentiment is shared between us. And so I remixed it on Instagram with like a bunch of clips that I had just from like the few most recent shows that I had been to. And it's like, yeah, just go to the show. Because I was talking to my coworker on one of the several shoots that I had this past week, that contributed to my tiredness. And we were talking about music, and he was like, I just wish some bigger bands would come to the Brandon Amphitheater. And it's like, why even wait for the Brandon Amphitheater? I've been maintaining this calendar for 3 years, all right? This calendar goes back to December 2023, I think. Yes, December 2023 is when I started it. I first started out, it's just my personal calendar where I could put a show on the calendar so that I personally wouldn't forget. At first, there's a lot that's missing from this calendar, by the way, especially early on. Like, every show wasn't going on this calendar. It was just the ones that I personally wanted to go to. But then, of course, in, doing stuff with Good Gigs, I had to put the other shows on there. And now that I'm kind of doing this, it's like, yeah, I'm putting most of the shows that are happening on the calendar, that fall within, the genre spectrum. So it's like, why would you wait for the Brandon Amphitheater? I mean, let me look at the lineup for the Brandon Amphitheater just to show you like what is there. Calendar, upcoming events. What do we have? First of all, it's an outdoor venue. So like already it's gonna be, why can't I see the calendar? Hello? Refresh. Okay, fine. Go to the events tab then. Jesus. We got the Goo Goo Dolls. Oh, that's this Wednesday. So we got the Goo Goo Dolls, which, okay, sure, slay. We got Jason Aldean. We got Need to Breathe. Not sure who that is, but I see a cowboy hat, I think. We got Coetzel. We got TLC and Salt and Pepper with En Vogue, which kind of slay. Ty Myers, Weird Al. Hold on. That's October 4th. Wait, do I want to go to that? Wait a minute. Is it sold out? I hope not. Because honestly, middle school me was like way into Weird Al. I mean, it's not, but oh god. I mean, it's $95 or 36 if you want to get in like the outer rings, but yeah. The Doobie Brothers. Mercy me. Mr. Beefing with my chick while I'm in jail himself, Kevin Gates. Matt Rife for some reason. Third Day. Like, you're not, okay, let me just put it this way. You're not gonna get the stuff that I want to go see at the Brandon Amphitheater. I'm just gonna keep it a band. Like, aside from Weird Al, like, I kind of do want to see Weird Al. But, like, the stuff that I want to see, it's not going to be at the Brandon Amphitheater. And listen, our tastes might be different. Because this person did ask me whether or not Amon Amarth was considered hardcore. And I had to think about it a little bit. Because obviously I knew the name. But I thought about it. And I was like, that's the band where people get on the floor and row. That's Viking metal. That's not hardcore, okay? Not to be, the subgenre police. Those two are genuinely like really, really different vibes wise. And I was telling him, like, I've been trying to get him to come to a show number one, because I'm always about getting butts and seats, all right? I want people to come to shows just like no matter what. Is that, should there be some, I don't know. Honestly, I don't. But honestly, if I could just get a person who wouldn't otherwise go to one to go to like one show and just like have a lot of fun and then go to more shows, and then maybe they'll make some friends. Oh no, maybe they'll make some friends, and maybe they have some instruments, and maybe they'll start to play those instruments, or maybe they'll buy some instruments on eBay or Facebook Marketplace, and they'll start to learn those instruments, or maybe they'll be given those instruments by someone who no longer has need for said instrument, and maybe they'll start making music themselves. That's what happened to me, all right? I went to a show, had fun, I made friends, I got some instruments, and I started making music. Sakura Blue. What's the worst thing that I listen, and I think a lot of discourse surrounding hardcore is like embarrassing at best and straight up like useless at worst, but I don't think we should really be gatekeeping it that much, because like God forbid a new perspective comes through. God forbid, like I truly don't see obviously there are people that things like this should be gatekept from, and that is the Nazis, of course, because there was that what was the name of the band? I forget the name of the band. I truly forget the name of the band, but yeah, people like that should be kept away. But the young kids with like the really big nose gauges that people like to make fun of, truly, what is the harm? In my eyes, like, what is the harm? Like, oh no, we got some fresh new eyes, some fresh perspectives. We got younger people. It's not just old heads with bad joints. Like, truly, what is the harm? And these young kids, they are learning instruments and making bands. Like, is that not the goal? Hello? Is that not the goal? I truly want to know. Anyways, I maybe I'm missing some things. Maybe I'm missing nuance. I have come to realize that even though I am like the scene journalist in a way, people sometimes just straight up don't tell me things. So hey, maybe I am missing something. All right. All the things that I find out about them secondhand, because not that I've wanted to be the scene journalist, and I don't know if I really want the journalist part of it, because, I feel like journalism, people play fast and loose with the word journalist. Not everybody who has a camera and who writes on a blog is a journalist. I don't consider myself to be one because I'm not doing journalism. Journalism is a very specific thing that a lot of people are not doing, all right? Some people are just bloggers, and that's okay. Some people are just podcasters, and that's okay. They won't kill you for that. They will not arrest you for that. That is fine. But something that I have realized is that being that I am a person that kind of minds my own business, people just don't tell me things. So hey, maybe there's some things that I perhaps am missing because I just don't ask, because I just don't feel like it's my business, because I just feel like I don't need to know, because I feel like it just doesn't involve me. So like, hey, maybe there is something missing. I don't know. People don't tell me because I also don't ask. But whatever, man. I am anti-gatekeeping because I feel like it doesn't really benefit anyone, in my opinion. But what do I know? I'm an interloper. I just got here. Anyways. What the heck was I talking about? I don't know. If you're at the Color Revolt show or the No Cure show, I have reached out. Well, I haven't reached out. I solicited the help of the public to help me disseminate these because, being that it is 2 shows and I'm one person, I can't be in 2 places at once. That's not how physics works. But someone who works at Dueling Hall reached out and told me I could leave some there. I need to reach out back to them because the show is this Saturday. And I probably will end up leaving some maybe like Friday or something like that. I don't know. I gotta reach back out. I haven't really done that. I got a surprising amount of people that were willing to help me, which I think was really cool. I think it was really cool. I think it's really cool that people really care like that. I think that is pretty dope. There are other people like me who are, butts and seats first. And, we can cross the other bridges when we get there. I don't think I'll ever feel like that I'm like blowing up a spot, which, hey, I haven't been in the spot for very long. So perhaps, I don't know. But anyways, continuing with the rest of the calendar, the 23rd of August, we have Cookie Woo, mostly satire, just joshing and eyes like yours at Fondren Public. Which I was wondering where this would be. I think they have like a stage like in the back part because I've been to Fondren Public exactly 2 times. And I've only been in the outdoor portion like once. So I think it's going to be there. That's this Sunday, not this Sunday, next Sunday, the 23rd at Fondren Public. And I think it starts at 5. I think that's when it starts. And then, also on that Sunday, we got Slip to Dust, Spider Shed, and Encircled Throne. Sunday, August 23rd, that's at 6, that's at the UU Church. And then, Thursday, the 22nd, we got Water Me Down, Zach Burton and Eyes Like Yours. That's on the 22nd. Nope, that's on the 27th. That's at Urban Foxes, and that's at 6 o'clock. Okay. And then on the 28th, we got Stay Lost, Tan and Handsome, Eisen, and Wretched. That's at the UU Church. That's at 6 o'clock. And then Saturday, the 29th, we got iJam, E.T. Cruiser, and Melted Crayon. That's going to be at the End of All Music. That's going to be at 7 o'clock. All right. And then for September, we got Sunny Mondays, Eyes Like Yours, and Good Night Morning. That's on the 6th. And that's at Urban Foxes, and it's at 6. And then, we have another event that's coming up that's really big, but let me get through the rest of these. We got, and I don't know if I'm going to run out. I probably am, because I'm going to end up leaving half of those at Dueling Hall and then taking the other half to Howlin' Mouse. So if I do run out, then I'll just print some more at my local Office Depot Office Max, which, again, it didn't cost that much. It was like $20-some, truly. That's not that much to me. We got the Calistal Boys, Kaonashi, Girl of Glass and Wielded Steel. That's at Howlin' Mouse. It's on a Tuesday. That's at 6 o'clock. And then on the 25th, we got Weather, Abysm, Plague Burner, and Wretched. That's Friday, September 25th. And then on the 26th, we got Girls' Night. That's the Akashic 45s, Miscommunication, Dreams Without Color. Hold on, did I skip something? No. Charcoal and Lee Baines at Urban Foxes. There are going to be artists there. I don't have them listed out currently. But the other show in September, do I have anything in October? Yes, Forever Fest. That's on the 17th. And then Dent May Sad Bath and Newscasts on the 20th. I don't have anything for November. Forever Fest is, I have the address in the Google Calendar thingy, so go look at it. It's off of Lakeland Drive. And then Dent May Sad Bath and Newscast, that's at Howlin' on the 20th. I don't have a time for it though. But on the 20th of September, we have a very unique event. You've heard of T-Boy Wrestling. Get ready for T-Girl Boxing, because that is exactly what's going to happen. We've got Transgender Fight Night. It is a benefit boxing match / Battle of the Bands. There will be 2 boxing matches. It'll be Olivia versus Lindsay and Lane versus Alex. And then a Battle of the Bands, Hush Puppy versus Selma Everest. And this is a benefit for the Spectrum Clinic in Hattiesburg. And I saw this come across my timeline, and I looked at it, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I looked at it again, and I was like, boxing? We're doing boxing? And yes, it's boxing, and it's going to be at a boxing studio. I forget the name of it. It's 830 Foley Street in Jackson. Hold on. I will find the name. Okay, the name is not on Google Maps. Whatever. It's 830 Foley Street in Jackson. That is a boxing gym. And there's gonna be boxing. Like, actually, boxing. And, okay, I know, listen, T-Boy Wrestling, that, hopefully this will have much less misappropriation of funds, given that this is a benefit. So you would hope there's no misappropriation of funds like there was with T-Boy Wrestling, which that was kind of crazy. Because, like, I saw pictures from, like, the T-Boy Wrestling events, like, one week, and then the next week, it's like, hey, so-and-so, like, stole a bunch of money. And then there's, like, the interview that was on YouTube with one of the people who's, like, the co-organizer or something like that of T-Boy Wrestling. There's, like, a whole thing. I do suggest looking into it, because, again, it was, like, a whole thing. But we got boxing and Battle of the Bands. I've never been to a boxing match. I mean, the only boxing match that I have really watched, like, on purpose, was Creator Clash 1 and 2, which, honestly, I did enjoy both of them. They were fun. I didn't see them in person, though. I think I was considering seeing Creator Clash 2 in person, because, I mean, it was going to be in, Tampa, Florida? That would have been, like, a flight, but also, no. Like, at the same time, it's like, do I really want to go to Florida like that? Like, no. And there didn't end up being a Creator Clash 3. I think there's, like, a whole thing there as well. Don't know what was going on with that, but, either way, that was the only boxing match that I watched on purpose. And then, of course, last night I ended up watching some UFC, which I didn't dislike. I didn't think I was going to dislike it. Maybe I thought I was going to be a little bit bored. I was not bored. I wouldn't say I'm into UFC, because, like, I just truly cannot conjure up any amount of excitement for sports really that much, for any sport. But I was entertained. I'll say that much. Ooh, my eyeball. Ugh, nice big eyelash fell into my freaking eye. Anyways, so yeah, I'll be watching boxing live Sunday, the 20th of September. Like, yeah, that's gonna happen. And then a Battle of the Bands. So, and it's all to raise money for the Spectrum Clinic in Hattiesburg. And yeah, that is that on that. That's what's going to be happening on the 20th. And it's like, also, another thing, I've never photographed a boxing match before. I think it would be really interesting to do that. To photograph. Will I show up in a giant fur coat? No, because it's going to be September. Okay, it's too hot. I don't own a fur coat, and I'm not going to buy one just for the occasion. First of all, who's buying real fur in the big 2.6? I know I am set to be bequeathed some of my grandmother's furs. I don't know what the heck I'm going to do with them. Truly. I know, I know that's what I'm going to inherit. That and some jewelry, which, that's what my mom has told me anyways. That's what I'm for sure set to inherit, is some furs and some real jewelry. Because, I wear jewelry. I don't wear the real stuff. I was looking and I was like, I did the shoot at this, like, consignment store. It wasn't a luxury consignment store. It was like a normal consignment store. or was it a consignment? Whatever, man. Consignment of some sort. And, they got out a tray of these rings for us to look at, or for us to shoot, rather. We weren't just looking at them, to get, like, beauty shots of. And there was this one ring that I saw. It was a gold and onyx ring, and it was rather simple, but I have not been able to get my mind off that ring since. It was a beautiful, gorgeous ring. I tried it on. It was too small. It was a size 6. I think my finger's a size 7.5. Because I did get my finger sized, because, what was this? Not last Christmas. This is like 2 Christmases ago. My mom got my dad a ring, but it had to be resized. So we went to a place to do it, and I got my ring size, and I think it's a 7.5. I don't think it's changed since then. So yeah, the ring was too small, but it was so nice. Just very simple, gold and onyx. And I looked at the price tag, and it was like almost $700. And I was like, Jesus Christ, when am I ever going to have real jewelry in the budget, I don't think I'm ever, and this is mildly depressing, but whatever. I also haven't really been a person who's into real jewelry. I'm into jewelry because I like wearing accessories sometimes. But like, I was looking at prices for some of the stuff that they had, aside from the rings, the bracelets and the necklaces and stuff, and even just like a simple gold chain. It was like $500. And it's like, I am never going to be in the tax. I'm never going to be, okay, I don't want to say never, but I'll just say this. I'm currently not in real jewelry tax bracket. I'm not in that tax bracket. I cannot justify dropping $600 on a ring, a single ring, that I'm going to have to pay to get resized, by the way, if I did buy it. But yeah, I have not been able to get my mind off that ring. And it's like, man, is the only time I'm going to get real jewelry if I ever get proposed to, or when my mom dies, which is not something I want to think about, by the way, because my mom has plenty of real jewelry. Like, she's got so much of it. Real gold and silver. And it's like, the real stuff is unfortunately out of my price range at this juncture. I'm still trying to pay off my student loans. Like, that, it's not happening, which is kind of sad, but is it really imperative that I get a gold ring? Because, what's going to happen? I lose it or I break it, and then I'm mad that I just wasted $600 on something. I don't know. Which, we have established that I am not a person who loses things, so I'm probably not going to lose it. But have it be damaged? Yes, because my hands are constantly knocking into things. So that's why I already don't really like wearing rings, but I was really attached to this ring for whatever reason. Yeah. Anyway. How did I get to this? Oh, because I was talking about freaking furs. Anyway, those are the shows that are coming up lately. And if you want to see shows as soon as they're added, go to jacksonunderground.com/calendar and you can find them, because that's where they are. It's just a Google Calendar, by the way, so you can add it to your Google account. You can also set notifications. I don't think you can be notified when a show's added. I think you can just be notified when the show's like about to happen. So you can set notifications for when the shows happen, like on the day of, or you could set, a notification for the day before. Basically basic Google Calendar stuff. Bing, bang, boom. There you go. Another show that I did not talk about because it's not on the calendar, because it's not in, something's poking me in the eye, because it's not in Jackson or Mississippi. There is a show that is coming up in New Orleans that I saw it come across my timeline, and I was like, whoa, what if I want to go? What if I want to go to the show? And I'm going to try to find it, because, let me see. Bloop. Hold on. There it is. Here it is. So it is, of course, my goat, Palmer Shires, In the Sky Imposes Its Will. Dreams Without Colors, Walking on Sunshine, and Spirit of Possibility are going to be at Holy Diver in New Orleans, for a show. And I was like, I was thinking about it, and I was looking, and I was like, man, any opportunity that I can get to see the Sky and Poses Will, I'm gonna take it, number one. But also, like, I haven't taken my yearly New Orleans trip because I thought about it. And ever since I've been here in Jackson, it's only been 5 years, but ever since I've been here, I have gone to New Orleans at least once, like every year. In previous years, 2 times at most, I want to say. But I haven't taken my yearly New Orleans trip. And it's like, this is on a Friday. No, this is on a Saturday. So this is like, I don't even have to take off work. And thankfully, the hotel gods smiled upon me. So I was able to get a pretty cheap hotel. And not cheap as in, it's in a weird part of New Orleans. Cheap as in, I just got a good deal. All right? So it's like, perhaps I will go to New Orleans for this trip. I haven't been all year, all right? And I gotta go to see my goat. What can I say? And also, something I realized is that 3 out of 4 of these bands, I mean, Dreams Without Color from Jackson, Sky and Poses Will, Vicksburg, and Spirit of Possibility is... Now, I don't know if they have moved yet, because when they performed here, they were talking about moving to Minneapolis. So I don't know if that's actually happened yet, but 3 of these 4 bands is from Mississippi. So it's going to be a little bit of Mississippi takeover. So, I hope I see a lot of familiar... I mean, I will. Because, I know the people in these bands, but I hope I see a lot of familiar faces down there. It's going to be so much fun. And it is primarily, well, not primarily, I mean, Sky and Poses Will, it's like ambient drone, little in the dark drone category. Spirit of Possibility is straight up experimental, weirdo freak, positive music, so I'll definitely love that. And then Dreams Without Color is a dark wave band. And then Walking on Sunshine, they are from New Orleans. And they're described as a stoner / sludge / noise duo. And being that I do quite like some sludge, and of course, it is established, I like noise, I'm going to have a lot of fun at the show down in the Big Easy. I'm going to get me some, and also, I don't know why, the show does start at 9. So that's going to be a little late. A little bit late for me, who, I'm used to going to shows here that start at like 7. So to have one that starts at 9, I guess they do things a little bit different down in New Orleans. I don't know. Also, I've never been to a local show in New Orleans. I've been to a local show in Hattiesburg. I guess technically also Vicksburg. That kind of counts. And Atlanta. But not New Orleans. I kind of want to go to one in Memphis. I want to see if I can go to one in like Birmingham. 'Cause I don't know if Gidmas did not count as local. I'm not even gonna lie, that didn't count. That was a festival with like, yeah. I'm not saying that counted. I would like to go to a local show in Birmingham. I just don't want to drive to Birmingham. It's just so far. I'm gonna like already be in Birmingham for something else, and then there's a show. Kind of like when I was in Atlanta and saw Chora and like a bunch of other bands, Jade Wick, Clot, and one whose name I cannot remember. Pope Eyes? Yeah, that was a fun show. Freezing cold in that little concrete room. But it was truly a lot of fun. Mostly because I got to see Chora. Which I haven't really heard much about their new album that they got coming out, which has been being planned on for some time. But either way, yeah, I'll get to see how they do things down in New Orleans. They don't like being called NOLA. Don't call them NOLA. They're New Orleans, which I can't really give what it needs to be given because I just don't have the accent. But you get what I mean. But either way, that'll be a lot of fun, and that is a couple of weekends from now. That's coming up quick. So yeah. Oh goodness. Okay, I can mark that off. So for a couple of new releases, we got PEUR, which I think, the last time I talked about PEUR, I kind of predicted when the next song of theirs would come out. I can't remember what I said though, but they got a new song out. It's called Death of the Wolf. I've listened to it. I like it a lot. I think it's really good. There's also a music video. I haven't seen the music video because I just haven't watched it. That's truly all there is to it. Perhaps I should. but I like the song. I like it quite a bit. Would be nice. There's, full length. I wouldn't mind a full length. They already got 3 songs out. They already have. Would I consider 6 tracks to be a full length? I guess that depends on how long the tracks are. So they're already almost halfway there. Maybe 8 tracks and make that a full length. I would like to see a full length from PEUR. And I'm just going to treat it as the spiritual third Invent Animate album, even though, the actual one, which I was listening to it again recently because I was thinking about it, Greyview by Invent Animate. I listened to this so much when it came out. This came out in 2020, March 2020. This is a lockdown album, truly. Although I don't think I really got into it until a little bit after it came out. Yeah. March 2020. Good golly. Wow. I didn't realize that was when it came out. Yeah, that was truly a lockdown album. I listened to this so goddamn much. Oh my god. To the point where it's like, I think in my top 20 of all time listens for albums, going off of stats. And I went back and listened to it, and, in hindsight, like, now I can kind of identify, like, musically, like, yes, this is kind of the natural progression of an animated sound, but vocals-wise, not really. So, I really did like Greyview when it came out. I haven't really been listening to it much, if at all, recently. But I did go back and listen to it, and I was like, oh, that's why I liked it so much. Like, yeah, like, duh, okay, yeah, I get it now. I get why I liked it. I mean, I didn't really need to, I guess I did really need to be reminded. Like, yeah, it is a good album. I do like it. I mean, it's not, I don't know if I would consider this to be a no skips, because I feel like there's some songs that I can do without. I'm not going to get into a whole review of Greyview 6 years after it came out, but I don't know if I'd consider it a no skip. Same with Heavener. I like Heavener. Heavener is great. Is it a no skip for me? No. And what's crazy is, like, the most popular song off that album is an automatic skip for me, Without a Whisper. It just kind of is, go on, girl, give us nothing. Especially after, or considering the one song that comes after it, or the songs that are in between it, or, like, just the rest of the songs on the album. Without a Whisper is easily the weakest song on Heavener, and yet it's the most popular. Probably because it just appeals to a wider range of people. I think that is the answer to that. Yeah. Anyways. Yeah, what was I saying? Oh, that was what I was saying. PEUR has a new song out. It's called Death of the Wolf. It's really good. I liked it a lot, and I wish they would put out a full length. That's it. That's really it. Let me mark this off. Now for this next one, I have some props, and they're on the side. I could just roll this table closer to me. I keep forgetting it's on wheels. I don't have to be reaching like that. I have a stack of CDs in front of me because I have purchased, and this is going to be really hard to see on camera. No, it's not that hard to see. We got this one. We got this one. And this one. We've got Kaonashi's 3 full-length Lemon House albums. Why did you do it? I don't know why I blanked. Dear Lemon House, You Ruined Me Senior Year, and I Want to Go Home. I have them on CD. I've wanted these on CD for some time now, and I got them recently. I've been listening to them on my stereo. I will say the case for Dear Lemon House, it did come a little bit broken. Just a little bit, though. I don't think that was, or maybe it was a shipping issue. I actually kind of can't tell, because none of these other cases are, like, broken, but ever since, I have found out that Kaonashi is coming in September, and I listened to them, I have been truly obsessed. Like, I am so into the Lemon House lore. I mean, I talked about it at length a couple of episodes ago. I don't know which episode. It was a couple episodes ago. I'm not about to look for it. So I thought I would get the albums on CD, and I got them on CD. They're also available on vinyl, but I don't have a vinyl player. I want to be able to actually listen to these on the stereo. And as far as I know, I don't think there were any tapes available. But I've just been into CDs more than tapes lately, anyways. But yeah, if I had to rank these, and also, you know, I have listened to the EPs, the Casey and the Morgan EP. But I don't know if I just like the full lengths a little bit more. But if I were to rank them, and again, I still like all of these like so much. But I would say of these, and again, I like all of these. I listen to all of these, but just prefacing that, I would say Why Did You Do It? I Want to Go Home, and then top for me is Dear Lemon House, because I mean this also is my number one, but it's not a no skip, because there is like one acoustic song on here that again I always skip. I Want to Go Home is the one that I listen to first of their, you know, all of their music, so I still think it's really good, and I do still really like it a lot. This came out in 2025, so like last year. And again, I do like it a lot, but not as much as Dear Lemon House. And I do like some, well, I mean, I like all of the tracks. It's just this one is also like the shortest. This is 8 tracks. And I like them. I do kind of wish there was like a little bit more meat on the bone. But this is also, you know, the first Lemon House LP. So yeah, I've already gotten into like the lore of things. And I mean, also all that's just out there. So if you want to know, find out, I guess. But also something that I was most excited for is, gosh darn it, oh, piece fell out. Yeah, the CD just straight up does not stay, because one of the little clamps is just broken, and that's sad. Come on, I'm trying to pry out. Here we go. They all have booklets. They all have proper booklets. And with the proper booklets, you have more, I mean, they're photographs, but it's like artwork. You know, it adds to the story. That's why I was most excited to get these, because I really wanted to go through the booklets and see not necessarily the lyrics, but the added, like, artwork, you know? That goes with it. That kind of, again, it adds to the story. Anywho, I bring this up because, number one, not only did I get these CDs in the mail recently, put these back, but Kaonashi has put out a new song. It's called Typing. I've listened to it a couple times. Now, as I understand it, the Lemon House saga is done. But then I went and saw, because they released, which, I mean, hey, you can release a single on vinyl if you want. I'm not the physical release police. The physical release police. I'm not that. But they put out the single on a single, and the A side is the regular version, and the B side is the demo version. But I was looking at this, and I'm looking at the colorway of the vinyl, and it's charcoal and white marble with blue and green splatter. And who is blue and green but Jamie, right? Okay, it's really hard to see here, but blue hoodie and green messenger bag. That's like Jamie's colorway. So it's like, okay. I haven't really read the lyrics to the song, because like I've listened to it a couple times, but again, I haven't really read the lyrics through or anything like that. So like, I don't think, you know, I don't know if this is new Lemon House material. I don't think it is, because I Want to Go Home was supposed to be the end of it, you know? So, yeah. They also have this festival coming up. I don't know when, but it's in Philly. And when I found out about it, I mean, listen, I did just say I'm going to New Orleans. That's a weekend thing, though. But I am a little bit tripped out for the year. I've reached my limit, unfortunately, because of both money and PTO reasons. So sometimes it'd be like that. They have a festival coming up, but they're also coming here on the 22nd, and that is what I'm most looking forward to. So there you go. That's some new musics that have come out recently. Bloop. And as it is almost 10 o'clock, and I've got another week of weeks coming up, that will conclude this episode, this 77th episode of Runnin My Mouth. Pretend you didn't hear that. The 77th episode of the Running My Mouth podcast. Why didn't I name this something like easier to say? I don't know, man. Maybe I should record this sometime other than at night before I'm going to bed. What a concept. Anyways, this has been the 77th episode of the Running My Mouth. Whatever. I've said it already. I've been your host, Aaron. Thank you for allowing me to run my mouth. And, I gotta go fold my clothes because they're just sitting on my bed. And again, I got another week of weeks. And, this weekend did not last nearly as long as I needed it to. And I don't know when our next 3-day weekend is. I think it's in November. But no, it's in September. It's in it's in a few weeks. Okay, so I do have a 3-day weekend coming up. Thank God. Thank the God above that I don't believe in. Got a new 3-day weekend. New 3-day weekend just dropped. They should make more 3-day weekends. Anyways, we should just have 4-day work weeks. Anybody think about that? I don't think they did. I don't think anyone's thinking about it. But also, the powers that be in the United States seem to be pro-suffering. So I think if, they could make a 7-day work week legal, they would do that. So we're not getting 4 days anytime soon, unfortunately. Yeah, anywho, it's time for me to go. I am still tired, and it is late. Au revoir.